funeral and something in between, and not much else, right? So people don't come back to you often. So Google makes all the money because people will search for Google, and we have to pay a lot of money for that. So we said, how about we turn it into becoming a tool for the musicians to be more successful? So we created an app which would enable any musician to go and record where they're going to play, how much money they're making, share the profit among the other band members. Even if you have a gig you can go to and you can swap it for another gig, you can do it inside the platform. Everything of what we have surveyed 18,000 musicians in our platform about, it was everything they wanted. So we said, why don't we just launch it? And we said, wow, this Kickstarter just came out. Why don't we try and launch it there? So we launched the app, which was finished, as a Kickstarter project, and said, if you will come with comments, if you'll participate, if you'll join, we actually will give you a free app, which we've done anyway. And we sent this out to these 18,000 musicians who said they wanted it, and we made a big campaign, and we got $3,000 and had to cancel the project. So, and what do you do afterwards? We killed it ourselves because we now made all this noise. We didn't get success. We cannot go out with the product in the market afterwards and say, we know this wasn't a success, we know people didn't like it, but please take it anyway. So we chose to kill the project. See, how come this was not a success? How come this was getting the traction? Well, it's obvious. We didn't talk to the right people in the right space. So we weren't talking to the musicians, the early adopters of musicians. We're talking to everybody, and we weren't giving them any promise. We're talking about features. And features are nice. Yes, it would be nice for me to do that, but tomorrow. There's no urgency. We couldn't get them to invest in the brand value because there were none. We were a functional company fixing functional problems for people, and occasionally it's good, but there were no emotional connect. So before you go on Kickstarter and say, let's put my project on Kickstarter, you have to have that emotional connect. So if you go to get a gig on Kickstarter, you also see when you see the video, it's very startup video, right? It's not really emotional. And that's, I think, without knowing, is the reason that didn't go well. So, I think price is always a question. How do you price your product or your service? And how important is price? Argumentally, if people believe in what you do and they're early adopters, they are not as price sensitive as you believe they are. You heard Simon Sinek says people were paying $40,000 for a TV that wouldn't even live up to the standard of the old TV they had in the living room, because they wanted to be the first. They wanted to be part of the journey. They believed in what was going on. But anyway, even though this is true, majority of the startups I meet around the world, they focus on price because they believe price is so important. Because they believe people want it cheaper, better, faster, and they say all these words. I say stop. All these metrics are things you're going to use when you have late majority. You have majority in your game. You want to prolong the life cycle of your product. You start playing on all those once. You start playing on the price mode. So I shouldn't do any promotion. Of course you can do promotion. Everybody gets triggered by a promotion, but you shouldn't, in real world, you don't need to go out and say, we are the cheapest. It's a warning letter for yourself if you think that the main driver for people to buy from you is because you're the cheapest. Also, is your perception. Are you actually the cheapest? That's the next thing. Okay. I can do another session on pricing. I love pricing. The other reason you have to do branding is because it's easy to copy anything in this world, right? And some countries are more clear on what you have to do. But you need to have a unique proposition to the market. And the second you're going to get that, you're going to see this happening. You know? I don't know what it says, all these brands, but these are all copycats of major brands. And the only reason that they are there is because there's a rub-off effect of some people saying, I want this, but I can't have it. So they have a market space. So the second you see copycats of your brand is something good. Okay? So this is the idea of can't you see the bottom of it? This is the idea of you can see that. So this is the idea of actually taking this into a holistic approach, but saying you have to look upon it from all angles of what you're doing. And some of the companies who are doing it very well are in the bottom, and I'm sure you know all of them. If you don't, let's have a talk about that. But it means that actually, no matter what activity you're doing, you need to think about this. And actually, when you start doing this, when you've done your why, it's so easy to say we're not doing that. Because it's just, what was it? We said something about your. Do you remember what we wanted to say about your why at the time we did? We said you wanted to be. I can't remember, but whatever it was going to be, it makes it so easy to say, well, then we don't need this on the website, or then we don't need to do this because it doesn't make any sense in what we're doing. The second your proposition is feature driven, I can come up with 50 new features for you tomorrow, and we can sit and talk about if I just had that feature. If we just had $50,000 more for marketing, if I can just get a CTO. These are the things that makes guys like me worried, because it's telling me that you haven't done your why work. Good. We're going to go through in a second. You can get the PowerPoint afterwards, right? I wanted to show you a few examples that I've been part of, right? To show you that this is not just gimmick. It's actually a way of working with your brand. Okay? I know you don't know this brand, unless if any of you lived in Holland, or Belgium, or France. Hans Anders is a eyewear retailer who is selling eyewear at value for money. So cheap glasses, you get a good quality glass for a cheap price, right? So we try to figure out how can we make a journey where we can change that value proposition, because they are competing against huge, big brands in the local market, which were beating them on efficiency. So you go to Specsavers from the US, they can produce you a pair of glasses for $7. Why would I go here and buy for $70, right? So they actually said a revolution for your eyes in price and service. That was their value proposition. But it also was actually represented in all their stores. All their stores looked like shit. Cheap interior, non-inspiring, no uniform from the staff. There was probably most of the staff was elderly, not really inspiring. There was no concept inside the store. It really wasn't that good. So we said, how can we actually go and change that? And we changed the whole value proposition to the one word, or the two words called look sharp. I don't know how to translate that directly into Bahasa, but it's something about looking good or looking well out, and it's probably a lot of words. So you say, that's easy, done. Give me $50,000, I've done my work. No, it's a process, right? So it's about looking at the whole thing and say, going from the why to the what. So from the what to the why. So instead of being a sender, we want to be a facilitator of, if you look good, if you can see well, you experience more, you will have a completely different experience of the life. So what we did, to give you an example, was we were selling contact lenses with a subscription to go to the theater. And when we proposed that, I said, what? Why would we include theater subscription into a contact lens subscription? I said, because you want people to look sharp. You want them to get experiences. You're going to facilitate that for them. And they're going to say, wow. And they're going to talk to their friends. They're going to say, you know what? I went down to buy me a cheap pair of contact lenses. I got that. Really good contact lenses. But you know what they did? They gave me 2 tickets for the offer. Would you like to join? So we're saying, instead of being the cheap one, because that's an always continuously downward spiral, we say, no. We add value. So there's many ways to add value. I said the one with the subscription, saying, you have a subscription, we give you tickets. And a lot of these gimmicks we were doing, we're actually also doing arts. If you were one of our clients, there will be art inside the stores. And every month, some of our users will actually get a piece of the art home, which has a great value, which is looking good. So now there's been a competition. It's been on Facebook. People are winning the art, and it's going to be on the wall at home. And you know what you say when you have friends coming over? Wow, what a fantastic piece of art. It's just very funny. Let me tell you a story. I was down at my spectacle company. It's only a pair spectacle. I joined a small competition. And you know what? They said, you have to look at something beautiful every day. So therefore I have this beautiful painting in my home. And when you have social media helping you, you have 10, 15, 20 million people sharing that. And the cost of that painting is nothing. Right? From push to embrace. Exactly the same mechanism. Instead of going saying, I have cheap glasses, do you want to buy some? Hello, Google AdWords, hello. You turn it around and say, you know what? If you're really living in this world and you're cloudy, you don't really see the things you want to see, you're not experiencing enough, have you considered getting a new pair of glasses? Click here. Or receive an SMS giving you something inspirational. Or start pulling people in, but not by pushing. So getting them to embrace, so people themselves, and that's what happened in the recent years, is that the sales funnel has changed. Some of you might consider doing cold calling up clients and trying to do sales. The likelihood of you trying to do that is going to be people saying to you, bugger off. Already have one. Don't need it. Funny, right? But the truth of the matter is, what if you got that guy to call you? Do you think you could do that?
That's the dream.
That's the dream. And that is going away from pushing the clients to buy, to get them to embrace you as a brand. And one of the things you have to think about is, how do I get those early adapters to go into my belief stage and believe in what I do? And if they get that, how do I get them to share that with other people so we can go up that curve and get more clients? It might take a little longer time, but it's definitely more effective. And you're not going to have all these people going around saying, you know what, I got this call from this dude, he's from this company, they're morons, right? He doesn't even know my name, he's saying shit into the phone. I hate him, I'm never going to buy from them. You're going to have a negative thing. Instead of a guy saying, you know what, I was looking this up on the internet, I couldn't find it, then I found a telephone number for a company, I called them up, and you know what they told me? They said, it's very, very easy, my friend. This is what we do for millions of customers every day. Why don't we help you improve your business? You're going to find investors who do not believe. They will say, do cold calling, and all these things, so they will be different. So, and also perception. I know it's just a small thing, but what do you call your customers, your clients? What do you call them? Right? We call them, why do we call our customers for partners? We say, well, we don't really have customers, we have partners, we work together. We have a joint mission. We want you to be successful, but we can only do it if we're in a partnership. We can't do it if you're a client. If you're a client, I'm going to screw you, because that's the definition. You're a client, I steal your money. If you're happier than you're angry, you'll reply. If you're not, but if you're a partner, we have a long journey together, we're going to do this together. And it's just a matter of fact of twisting client, customer, whatever it's called, it doesn't really matter, but you should think about it when you're thinking about when you're creating your value proposition. Who am I talking to? How do I want them to see the world? You're my friends. You're my whatever you are. Okay, no, there was one. Come on, wake up. There. Employees, right? To go from being an employee to being a soulmate. It's so important, it's more important than what you would ever think about. When I see the companies that are succeeding, it's because the teams are in sync and they want to do this together. It's because the teams will say, we have to finish this by Friday, so we're not going home. Not because they're going to get an extra buck, because they have the passion, and because they believe in what they're going to do. These are the teams that's going to win. Not the teams that are saying, okay, guys, if you stay 2 hours, I'm going to give you another 100,000. Right? Then they're going to stay 2 hours and still not finish. Okay? So, just showing you this, don't have to go into details, but this is actually the matrix of the elements that we are working on when we're doing a branding session. Oh, sorry, again, too long. There we go. There, there, there. Okay. So, what you see here is a form of how you actually can do your analysis before you go in and work with a client, which are why focused, right? So you're saying, what are the market you're in? What are the conditions? Is there any competition? What are the target group you're working with? What are the internal values? What do I feel when I'm in the store? I need to have a pair of glasses. We ask clients and say, why are you here? I desperately need glasses. Okay, fine. You know, so that's how it is, right? And I don't really want to be here. A lot of the clients said, I really wouldn't like to be in the store, but I can't afford the good stuff, right? These are not the clients you want, right? Because they're going to say, yeah, I went to Hans Anders, and you know what? It's not the best place to be, but I know they don't look good, but that's what I have, right? You don't want to be in that situation. So that is the process of the questions you're asking, and this is the core proposition. And you have to ask yourself the question, as Simon Sinek did also, does this work for you? Would that appeal to you? Would you feel like, yeah? And if you don't have that stomach feeling yourself when you're doing your why, it's not a why. Because then you don't believe in it. And you won't be able to go out to people around you and say, I believe. Right? Okay. So, we changed it. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but we changed it. And I want to just go to the values and down to the source statement, just to play with this, and we're almost there. So you can read it. Some of it anyway. So this here is actually when you go and feel in your stomach. Can you read it? There's so many beautiful things to see in the world. If you don't see them sharp, you will miss out on a lot of things. That's why we believe everyone should have access to affordable and qualitative glasses or lenses. That's why we developed a way to make high quality glasses with good looking frames at the lowest possible price. We also believe that the next glasses make you look good as well. Want to try one? So suddenly what we did was we said, this is the statement, this is the value proposition, but the statement is like here. And if you say, why should I believe that? Well, we're saying you should believe us because trained opticians and skilled personnel will have a sense of fashion, and we do centralized buying and production for 2 million glasses a year in those countries, and just take a sharp look at our prices. We scout designers all over the world to find the beautiful frames. Okay, it makes sense with what you said. You're actually telling me how you're doing it. Why should I believe in you, right? And then there's a personality where we're saying it's very important. As I said before, what do you call your clients? It's the personality. You're saying, well, we're honest, open, friendly, creative, empathic, professional. If you have this brand feeling around it, it's very easy to say to employees, you know what, we're going to have a talk in a minute. And despite the fact you didn't hit your sales targets because you're a moron, I find you're not honest, not open, not friendly, not creative, and not empathic. And therefore, you're fired. And everybody else in the company will say, I get it. But if you fire somebody because you don't like them or because they just don't perform, you're going to be hit by one dogma, which is the truth also. There is no bad employees. There is only bad managers. Right? Equally sorted out, we all have a certain amount of skills, and we can be trained for a lot of the rest. Right? If we don't perform, it's mainly because, one, we don't believe in the shared things we want to do. So I'm not adaptive. I'm not going to listen to what you say. No matter what you're saying, I'm only here for the paycheck. But if I do believe, I'll do the best effort. And you never fire that employee. You say, I can't pay you 8 million anymore because you're not at the level you said you was. But you know, I believe that you're honest, open, friendly, creative, empathic, and professional, and you believe and look sharp. So therefore, I want to give you another chance. So what do you say? Next 3 months, I'm going to lower your salary. But if you do A, B, C, and D, I'm going to put it up at 10. You're going to see people say, okay, I'm with you. Right? So I think it's just important, not only when you're talking to customers, but also employees, that you have defined these things so you can talk to people about it. Right? The other things are also just the old stuff. So even though I know that I said before that we were just playing brand specialists, they're just people who come sit in comfy rooms and do brand brainstorming, actually it's not like that. There's a lot of theory behind it. There's a lot of groundwork. There's a lot of interviews, these kind of things. So you need anybody to hold your hand. Probably a real branding specialist will spend a month with you at a fairly high price. Okay, good. I don't know if you can see this, but we'll try. This is just the compass. You know, Hans Anders was down there, right? They were low price, value, whatever it was, and the big independents were up there, high price, high quality. And in between, we had a chain of where a lot of people went because it's a reasonable price, reasonable quality. Now, the essence was actually to try and see if we can not increase the price of the spectacle, because that would also change for the people who used to come to the store and say, wow, they became so expensive, but actually change the experience and increase the soul cube. So that's actually what we did. So actually people asked afterwards, you can't read that now, but people asked afterwards, they perceived Hans Anders as a higher quality brand than the big American brand in the middle. Okay? This is the rationale behind what we did. So changing the whole thing was very important for them. First of all, because they were having a dying engine. Nobody believed in what they were selling. But they did have presence, and they did have like 800 shops, as I remember. Okay, good. This is important, but I talked about it already. So this is some of the things that we did that I think is very funny. All employees got a new pair of glasses every year. And of course, there will be some moron putting up the hand. I remember in some of the shows say, yeah, but you know, I'm not wearing eyewear. Not a problem. You still get them. Give them to your mom. Give them to your friend. Share our vision. Go out and get somebody else to look sharp. And you know what happens when you go out and you have somebody coming into the store, and probably it's a poor person, and say that this person can't really afford glasses. And you say, actually, I have a pair of glasses I haven't given to anybody. And you take that pair of glasses and give that to that poor person and say, you know what? Here's a pair of glasses, my friend. They're from me. You don't have to pay anything. Your employees, the soulmates, are giving away the things you're giving away. And what happens on social media is this guy will go and say, you know what? It's amazing. My French man has a problem. He doesn't have any money. It's all bad. He was going to find out if he could afford a pair of glasses. You know what they did in Hans Anders? They actually gave him a pair of glasses for free. Okay? That's one. Part of the salary was giving to get them to do all things also to say, you know what, we have a program, so we want to try and motivate you guys to do things together. So, but you shouldn't be working all the time. So we helped them make a program which was not just monetized. You're going to find a lot of the incentive program you're going to find in startups has to do with money or shares or whatever it might be. They said, no, it's about coherence, it's about being together. So if we hit this and this target, we go to the cinema. Or if we do this and this, we're going to do that. If you're not sick for 20 days in a row, we're all going to go have pizza. We did all these things to clean up some of the diseases they had, and it worked very well. Yes? Stores was changed totally. Dress code was changed. And the idea was, in real world, we said, you can wear whatever you want, but whenever the boss is coming into the store, if the boss doesn't say, hey, you look sharp, something is wrong, then you're not living up to the brand value. So all the people who are standing in baggy trousers saying, hello, welcome, all the colleagues say, hey, come on, guy, look sharp, right? And, oh, yeah, I'll go and change. So it became the moral of the company to how to do that. So, now, it's okay, no problem. We did the communication with all these things. I'm not going to go for Lego, don't worry, that's too boring. But I want to find that one with the cars I put in. A lot of the same metrics you're doing for a lot of this kind. Okay, you probably don't know LeasePlan. It's a big American company. What they do is they lease cars. So if you're a company, you want to have a car, it's like, what do they call Master? They're called Track, exactly. This is track in America. So what they said to us was, you know, what a cool 80s tagline. It's easier to LeasePlan. We're building on our brand. We're using our brand in our own tagline, and people love it. The problem is people don't really buy into it. First of all, because majority of the people don't know LeasePlan. So why would you refer to your own brand with your own gimmick of a name? So we said, how can we move this around? And we made a new brand position. don't know if you can read it, but we said, instead of making leasing easy or cheap or effective or whatever, we said no, enjoy the ride. Leasing has to be an experience. So how we do that in a leasing car? All the cars are equal. I'll just give you a few hints. To put in a GPS at that time was not very expensive. So when you're coming into your car, it's a GPS, and what it does is it gives you, when you turn on the car, it's telling you to go somewhere, for instance to a coffee shop, to meet up with the lease plan guy, who's going to say, hey, you just try to drive the car. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I just want to buy you a cup of coffee. Just let me know how it's going. So anything you couldn't find out, everything's working as it should. And the fact of that $2 a month for this GPS, the fact of making it an experience to travel makes it much more interesting to play with it.